And as you can see by the box in the upper right-hand corner, we are now live. So welcome to our hangout this evening. It's nice to see you all again. It feels like it's been just such a long time since I've seen everybody's face. This is what's known as a Google Hangout on the air. So as I told you before, everything that we say, see, and do is going to be streamed to YouTube for all time. So be nice, be gentle. Or I'll have my doggy come through the screen and bite you.
Oh.
Yeah, she normally attends a lot of my hangouts in my arms like this. And she's not feeling well, so she's particularly attached to me here this week. So let's go ahead and we'll do the image sizing. I will show you real quick how it's done in Photoshop very easily. Is that okay?
Yes.
And then we'll have Jamie try. Jamie was having problems with the windows on her computer, doing strange kerfunkel-like things. And she was going away and coming back, and she was like a ghost in between the Netherlands. So we don't want to have her suffer with that, but we'll see what happens here in a minute. Before I share my screen, everybody look down at the bottom icons of us. Now, as I talked, you notice that I'm up in the main screen as well. I'm going to go down and I'm going to click on my little icon at the bottom. And for me, it says you. All right. And when I click on it, a white box appears. Now, I want each of you to go down and click on my picture on the bottom, my icon picture, and put a white box around it. And what this does is then if somebody coughs or sneezes or scratches or a dog barks, they won't take over the screen that we're sending to YouTube. Okay, has everybody done that?
Yep.
All right, good enough. Now, don't do this, but as you move your mouse around the screen, you notice some icons show up in the upper left corner. There's a green box with a white arrow in it. And I'm going to click on that. And on my screen, it's going to bring up a little sub window that says Chrome wants to share the contents of your screen. And you select your entire screen. And then I click on share. And when that happens, it's going to create a video feedback loop that we call a hall of mirrors. Okay? You see what's happening on my screen?
Yep.
That's the feedback loop. We simply take that window and we move it down towards the bottom of the screen, leaving a little bit of it out so I can get to it later. And now you see my screen. Okay? Everybody see the screen okay?
Yep.
So the first question we had about the videos. If you simply go to YouTube and type in Mark space Hilliard, these are going to show up. And there's quite a few. I've gone through and deleted about 200 of the older ones that are not valid anymore. Okay, but there's still a lot. There's a lot of things here. Like this is the most recent, the introduction to long exposure photographer using the breakthrough ND filter set. It's an hour and 14 minutes long. It's pretty good. There's good information in here. There's another one using ICC profiles for soft proofing in Photoshop. Now, this is a big deal. You cannot do this in Lightroom. But when you have a print agency that you're sending your prints to, if you call them up or email them and say, I want the ICC profile for the printer and the paper that you're going to print this picture for me on, they'll email it to you. You can load it in Photoshop into their permanent library there. And then when you open an image to edit in Photoshop, there's about 2 or 3 clicks of your mouse to do what's known as soft proofing, where you go and you load the printer profile that the image is going to be printed on, and it's going to emulate on your screen what that output print's going to look like. So you're going to get more closely dialed in on those colors. Okay, but this is something that's only available in Photoshop. This video talks about that. Okay. There's a bunch of other training videos here, infrared post-processing, critiques, how to safely clean your sensor. Here's one on learning Capture One and setting it up to ingest or upload your images directly off your memory card into a library structure on your computer. There's all kinds of interesting things in here. Cruise through it, and if you find something that you like, they're all here for your use. Okay.
Hey, Mark, do you have a one on creating a blog?
I do not.
Okay.
But actually doing it, a WordPress blog is fairly easy. Unless you customize it and add, point of sale storefronts to it, then it becomes kind of a nightmare that's beyond my capability. And you're going to have to go to a web person for that. But WordPress is fairly straightforward, and we can talk about that in the future too. But there's lots of videos here. I believe at last count there's like 193. Some of them are good, some of them aren't. The videos that are done in the Google Hangout classroom, they tend to be a little bit more jumpy than ones that I record directly on my computer. Okay, so that's where you get to these videos. Okay, so we're going to talk about simple resizing. This will just take a moment. Let me shrink this window down. I'll move him over here. I am going to bring up Bridge, which is the librarian for Photoshop. And I'm going to go up under images that are edited and just waiting for me to do something with. Jamie, do you recognize this? Do you guys recognize this location?
Yep.
No.
Sure do.
Yeah, but do you recognize those colors?
No.
This is what happens if you run a color image through the chromography action. It comes up with some funky things. Okay, so I'm gonna open just a single image in Photoshop. We'll open this one. Up she pops. To resize for web use, what I simply do is once she's open in Photoshop, I go up under the image, okay, and then I go down to image resize, and I take the longest side, which is 7804, and I change that to 2000. You click on it, it's done. And then I will go up here and I will do a file, save as. I'm going to save the output type to JPG because this is web-based. And then I'm going to put it in what I call a working directory, which is where all of the web files go. All right. And I click on save, and there's one there. I'm going to replace it and say OK. Now, if you want to strip off all of the information inside the image, the EXIF data, you don't want to know, you don't want people to know certain things. You can export it. Okay, and you can save for web. And this is probably a lot similar to what Jamie's going to show you in Lightroom. But I can go through and I say I'm going to save it as a JPEG. My quality levels, how big it is, the higher the number, the larger the size, okay? You can convert it to the web color space, sRGB, if you choose. You can embed the color profile in the image, but Photoshop's already done that. And you can turn off things like EXIF information and all that kind of stuff. And then we can save it and give it a directory, and away she goes, okay? So this is also another way to do it. That's all there is to it in Photoshop.
Okay.
Okay, it's really quite easy and straightforward. All right.
I think I can figure it out from Lightroom.
Yeah, I'm sure you can, but Jamie's going to show you that, provided her computer works. So what I'm going to go do now is I'm going to stop sharing. You see down here at the bottom? When you share your screen, it gives you a way to get out of it. And then I'm going to move that window back up here. And this is where Jamie's computer is giving her issues. I'm getting this window back up. So Jamie, you can attempt to do it on yours, or you can instruct me.
Well, let's give it a whirl.
Okie dokie.
The white box is still on you. That doesn't matter.
Yeah, now everybody go down and click on Jamie's icon.
Do I click on myself?
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh,
yuck.
For you, it's going to be you. Yeah, but you're going to get replaced by your screen, so you're not going to have to suffer yourself too long.
Oh, good.
Now, you see she's got the Hall of Mirrors?
Yes.
Oh my God. You've disappeared, Jamie.
I know.
Yeah, you just use the minimize button again.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, whoops.
There you go. You are minimized.
I know, but what are you seeing?
I'm seeing.
Can you see this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see Lightroom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Holy camole. Okay. Oh, how likely am I to recommend Google Chrome? There. All right. So, as I said multiple times, I don't use Lightroom for editing. I just simply use it for resizing. So these are obviously some Lightbook sample images that I needed to resize for my blog, for Facebook, etc. So I could select all of these, or I can just pick and choose. Let's just pick that one because it really doesn't matter. And go to export. And when I'm in this export here, I basically just have a choice as to where I want to put it. So I'll just choose the desktop, which is very, very neat. All right, and I'll just put sample. So I'm choosing that folder, select it. So that's where this image is going to go. And for Facebook, I just limit the file size to 850. But if I wanted to do, some other size or limit for whatever reason, I could do that, uncheck it, and choose the quality right here. Normally I'm exporting as a JPEG, but you have choices depending on what your goal is. And if it's a JPEG, you want to choose the sRGB color space. So normally I'm dealing with pixels. And so like, just using an example of 2000, it doesn't really matter. Long edge, sharpen for screen, for that type of thing. Now I have a watermark. I can for slide programs, I don't check that box, but for Facebook and maybe other things I might. So I'll just leave it unchecked because this is not going anywhere. After export, do nothing.
And it should be done.
Well, there it is. Okay, so at this point, that file is, can you still see everything?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, Lord. Okay, so let's see. So on the desktop, if you can find sample.
You just passed it.
I did. Oh, here.
Second
Here.
row right.
Okay, so here it is.
Mm.
And, well, apparently I hit 200 instead of 2,000.
Yeah, you did.
But anyway, so there it is, very quickly and easily resized. And I could take that entire folder and do the same thing. So
Okay.
if I do select all, which is just Control A.
Can I stop and ask a question?
Sure.
I didn't notice on the export dialog. Can you choose to tell it to act on the longest side?
Yes.
Yes.
So if we go here, and yeah, it was 200. So 2,000, and where is it?
Oh, I see. It's right above the 2,000.
Well, actually, that's what I did, long edge.
Okay.
So you can choose dimensions if you want. Short edge, long edge, dimensions.
Yeah, but by choosing the long edge, it's going to, regardless of the orientation of the picture, it's going to choose properly.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, that's a lot easier than what I'm doing. Okay.
Yeah, and so I can overwrite that one. And so here's 15 files. Could be 100. And very quickly with that one stream of steps, you've got 15 resized and put in a folder where you want them. So that's why I do the resizing in Lightroom.
Now, that is a nice feature set of Lightroom. Do you guys know why I do them one at a time?
No.
Really, no guesses? Because I'm editing those images one at a time. And as I edit them, I save the finished edited image in an archival directory to wait to go out into a library. And then I also do a downsize of every image to go out on the web or to go on the iPad or to go on the iPhone. And then those go into the working directory. So the next time I sync the iPad or the iPhone, it automatically picks them up, puts them on the iPhone. Okay.
The other thing you can do is set up a profile. If you are saving them for different purposes, you can set up a profile so automatically just choose the profile that you want to do. If you want to save it for Facebook as opposed to print and so on, you just set up.
Sure. Yeah,
Yep.
that makes perfect.
Yep. So here they all are.
Okay.
And that's it.
Did that answer your question?
That answered my question.
Okay.
Bill?
Oh, hey, Bill.
He got on.
Yes, he did. Good. Welcome.
Thank you.
All
Now,
right.
for anything that you missed at the beginning of this, it's being recorded on YouTube, and I'll send an email link to it to y'all tomorrow.
So now I stop sharing.
Yeah, stop sharing,
Okay.
and then you're going to have to re-maximize that window. There you go. You're back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you are. If I can see you, now everybody go down and click on the white edged box of Jamie and turn that white edge off. So now when each of you speaks, we get to see you directly. Okay. Now, Do you find this format helpful for after workshop continuing to learn things?
Yes.
Yeah, I like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. As long as Google doesn't make this go away next month, and I don't think they're going to, because this is hard coded into YouTube now, which Google owns. With this classroom style hangout really works very, very well for groups. And I've had these hangouts with as many as 25 people in them. Okay. So that took care of the resizing question. Brooke was happy with the video on the infrared. I've shown everybody how to access the videos online. And this video will be there too. And I'll create a separate gallery for the videos for this group. Now, if you come up with any further questions, we can do another video, another hangout on the air.
Chris, did you have any questions?
No, I'll work with Capture One by going through his video first on that. You know, because I'm strictly pretty much Lightroom, and then Lightroom into Nix, or Lightroom into Photoshop. But my whole world is Lightroom.
Okay.
But I know Capture One does better with the newer files, so I figure I'll do the raw conversion and Capture One, and then I'll still probably do a workflow going through Lightroom.
All right, yeah, and there is a mechanism built for that in Lightroom. You can, in Lightroom setup, there's something called a hot directory, a hot folder.
Okay.
That every time Lightroom starts, it checks for images in it, and if it finds images there, it imports them into Lightroom catalog. So you import your images into the database on Lightroom. You have this hot folder set up, and then you say you're going to edit in Capture One. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to drop your image directly into Capture One. You do, and then when you're done editing, you do the raw conversion in Capture One, and you point its output either into Photoshop or into that hot folder. And then Lightroom will rescan that back into the database the next time Lightroom runs. And there is a video, and I have it saved somewhere, that tells exactly how to do this very easily. I will find that link as well.
Oh, okay, thank you.
All right. So yeah, you can do Lightroom, Capture One, Photoshop, save as in Photoshop back to the totally finished image back into that hot folder, and Lightroom will automatically read it into the database. So there is a flow built in just for that. All right.
Okay.
Any other questions, Bill?
Nope.
Is it?
No, and no more questions.
All right. Well, this was really easy tonight.
So but someone had a question about the workflow, the editing. Is that
I did on the infrared, but I looked at the
Okay.
videos today and that took care of it.
okay?
Yeah, they were great. They were very helpful.
And there's lots more videos on that workflow. And the thing about that infrared workflow, Brooke, and all of the rest of you, it's just as valid as in color as in black and white as well. The only thing is we're dealing with different colors. Okay. And there are other videos that talk about the basic color workflow and using the filters. Okay, there's just dozens and dozens and dozens of those tutorials out there. Okay. And then if you ask, if you decide that you guys want to do another one of these, even next weekend we can do another one. I normally do these hangouts on Saturdays and Sundays. Mondays and Fridays are my wife's weekend. So those Mondays and Fridays are family days for me. All right. So I tend not to do anything online on those days. So I don't take away from that. And then if I'm not busy with the grandkids the rest of the week, we can do some on weeknights as well.
Great. Thank you very much. That's wonderful.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so now I'm going to go down and I'm going to stop the broadcast.